Would you risk everything to save just one soldier deep inside enemy territory? In war, some armies send men to absorb bullets. Others leave them behind when there's no way out. History is full of soldiers who never made it home. But in the Iran war, we saw something different. A rule, a promise. Leave no one behind. And in April 2026, President Donald Trump was about to show the world what that really means. April 3rd, 2026. A US F-15E Strike Eagle is flying deep inside Iran. Mission: strike and support. Then, Iranian air defenses lock on. A missile hits the jet. The aircraft is critically damaged. Losing altitude, losing control. There's no turning back, no landing, only seconds left. The crew ejects. 2 parachutes, falling into enemy territory. They land separately. The pilot is rescued within hours, but the second man, a senior colonel, lands deep in the mountains, injured, alone, and now missing inside Iran. Before the rescue even begins, something goes wrong. The information leaks. Not after the mission, not when it's over, during it. Within hours, multiple outlets are reporting it. Now the whole world knows there is an American colonel, alive, injured, and still hiding inside Iran. That one sentence changes everything. Because once that news is out, you're not invisible anymore. You're a target. Iranian forces now know someone survived. And somewhere in those mountains, he's still there. And now, they're coming. Up in the mountains, the colonel climbs, higher, colder, slower. A 7,000-foot ridge, the only thing between him and capture. Injured from the ejection, every step costs more than the last. He doesn't stay in one place, he can't, so he keeps moving. Up into the ridges, into thinner air, harder ground, no fire, no light, no sound, because even the smallest signal could give him away. But now, the hunt begins. Iranian forces sweep the area. Drones scan the mountains. Patrols close in from every direction. And then, it gets worse. A reward is announced, up to $60,000 for anyone who finds him. Now it's not just the military, it's civilians, villagers, hunters who know the terrain better than anyone. This is no longer a search, it's a race between one injured man fighting to stay alive and an entire country closing in on his position. Back in the command center, they're still searching, not with a clear signal, but fragments, short bursts, intermittent transmissions. Because out there, he can't stay on the radio. Every second transmitting is a risk. Then, a message comes through. Short, unexpected. 3 words. God is good. For a moment, you'd think that's confirmation. Proof he's alive. Proof they've found him. But instead, the room goes quiet. Because what if it's not him? What if he's already been captured and this is a trap? US officials hesitate. They don't move. Not yet. So they watch. Carefully, using surveillance, signals, tracking, piecing together every fragment he sends. Until finally, they confirm it. It's him, alive, still hiding in a mountain crevice. And now, they have something they didn't have before. A location. Now they know where he is. But knowing is not enough, because Iran is still searching, closing in, from every direction. So the CIA makes a move, not with force, but with deception. They launch a campaign inside Iran, spreading one simple idea. The pilot has already been found. Both crew members rescued. The mission over. It isn't true, but it doesn't need to be, because confusion creates hesitation, and hesitation creates time. Iranian forces shift, search patterns change, units move away from the real location. And for the first time since the crash, the United States has something it didn't have before. Not control, a window. The window is open, and they move immediately. More than 150 aircraft surge into Iranian airspace. Fighters, bombers, tankers, rescue helicopters, an entire air armada for one man. Fighter jets push ahead, clearing the skies. Bombers strike the roads, cutting off access to the mountains. Refueling tankers keep the force alive, deep inside enemy territory. Everything is synchronized. Everything is moving at once. Because this window won't stay open. Iranian forces are still out there, still searching, still closing in. So the U.S. hits first. Airstrikes tear through the surrounding terrain. Routes collapse. Approaches are blocked. For a brief moment, the battlefield slows. That's the opening. Rescue helicopters drop low, flying through hostile airspace, exposed, vulnerable, taking fire. One is hit, but the mission continues. On the ground, special forces reach him. No hesitation, no second confirmation. They already know this is the only chance. They grab him, stabilize him, move immediately. The helicopter comes in fast, barely touching the ground. Dust explodes into the air, engines screaming. Seconds, that's all they have. They load him and lift. As they leave, U.S. forces destroy what they cannot take. Aircraft, equipment, anything that could fall into Iranian hands. And just like that, after nearly 2 days inside enemy territory, he's out, alive. Because in this mission, they didn't wait for the perfect moment. They used the one they had. Back on base, the colonel is alive. But the mission came at a cost. More than 150 aircraft were deployed. Fighters, bombers, tankers, rescue helicopters. Some were hit, some were damaged, and some were destroyed by their own side to keep them out of enemy hands. U.S. forces took injuries, close calls, moments where the entire mission could have failed. All of this for one man. So the question is, was it worth it? To risk aircraft, to risk lives, to launch an operation this large, this dangerous, this deep inside enemy territory, just to bring back a single soldier? For some countries, the answer is simple: no. But for the United States, under President Donald Trump, the answer is just as clear: yes. Because this wasn't just a rescue, it was a message that no matter where you fall, no matter how deep, no matter how dangerous, they will come for you.
Thank you for watching Pastcast, where the past echoes through today. If you enjoyed the satire, scrolls, and scandals, like, subscribe, and ring the bell before the next empire falls.